Hi fellow mental projector. I know you love efficiency, so we'll do introductions and disclaimers at the end and we'll get straight into the video. As you've probably already read online, there's 2 key steps to this, but what we're going to do is break down each of these processes, because when you read about it, it can feel a little bit confusing and it is a slightly complicated authority to understand, but once you understand it, I promise it's so much fun. So those 2 key steps are be in the correct environment, and we'll talk about what correct environment means. And then the second point is to soundboard till you get clarity. So we're going to talk about what to do if you don't have a soundboard. And then lastly, we're going to discuss, how do you know once you've come to clarity? How do you know what is the correct decision for you once you've done all this processing? As a mental projector, we have this special tool we have access to. And I haven't seen it spoken about in other kind of theory-based human design, but if you go on the forums, you'll see a lot of other mental projectors have this lived-in experience. There's something in our body that pulls us to certain environments. You might call this intuition, you might call it an urge or a nudge. And I've just noticed in my life, I'll have this calling to go to this certain coffee shop or go for a walk in this location. I've had some pretty dramatic ones where my body wants to go to a whole other country to go do X, Y, Z, and it turned out to be one of the biggest life transformational experiences for me. So I know our authority says we have no inner authority, but we still have intuition. We still have something where our body knows exactly what we need and what to do. So don't discount that. So if you're feeling a certain pull to go to a different area of your house, follow it. What I have learned is my body knows exactly what I need. So whenever I listen to my body, it always works out. Now, if one of the decisions you're making is something about your future, then for me personally, I love going to places that I feel expansive. I love being able to see the sea or go somewhere where I'm overlooking an abundance of greenery, because my future, I want to feel expansive and abundance. One question you might have is, what if I go to the wrong environment? I don't want to get the wrong answer. I've thought about this. And the truth is, there's not really such thing as incorrect environment. There's just environments where maybe we won't get as much clarity as we would like. For example, let's say I'm going to a supermarket to try and get clarity over a big decision, and I'm soundboarding with someone. It's very unlikely that's going to be helpful for me, because as a mental projector, our aura is constantly absorbing the environment and then penetrating. So if you're in a supermarket where there's lots of visual things going on in your environment, usually lots of people, and you're constantly taking in that energy, you can't really hear your think. So that would be an example of what I would call an incorrect environment, if you will. An effective soundboard is where someone is able to reflect what you're saying back to you so you can hear it and see it. And we can talk a little bit about what a helpful soundboard is in a second, but if you don't have someone who can hold that space for you, because space holding really is a skill, but if you don't have that, what else can you do? I love journaling, and if you're a mental projector, or any projector type really, you'll have naturally discovered that journaling is so helpful for you to be able to see and hear your thoughts. Also, if you're a mental projector, you're probably quite good at asking yourself certain questions. This is what I do when I'm trying to figure out an answer to a problem. I'll be typing whatever's kind of coming to mind, and then I'll ask myself certain questions about it, and then I'll answer them, then I'll ask myself more questions about it, and then I'll answer it. Other things that people find helpful is video journaling. It feels very weird to do at the beginning, because you're filming yourself, and then you have to watch it back, and if you have any insecurities about how you come across it, it really invigorates those insecurities. But actually, when you do it a few times and you hear yourself and you see yourself, and once you've stopped judging the fuck out of yourself, it can be really helpful. You know, you can start to see patterns in your words, and I really like that method. Also, ChatGPT is an amazing resource. Typing in some thoughts and feelings about a decision, then asking Chat to reflect back what it sees. That can also be really helpful and insightful. Okay, so that's soundboarding without a person. If you are lucky enough to have someone who can hold that space for you, where they don't bring their problems and they keep it about you. My goodness, As a mental projector, I bet you're amazing at holding space for other people. And you're like, why does no one do it for me? This is a really common thing. As I said, safe space holding and keeping it focused on that person is a skill. A lot of other human design types do have a tendency to then, I think they're wanting to build like rapport with you. So once you share a problem and then they go, oh, yes, I've had the same problem and oh my gosh, and then this happened and that happened and this is how I felt about it. And all of a sudden you're now holding space for them. So when you find someone who can hold that space, often another projector, it really is a sacred gift. The other soundboarding type of persona you might come across, let's say someone's trying to hold space for you, and bless them, they're really trying to hold back their opinion and their thoughts, but they can't. My husband is an emotional manifestor. My gosh, I love him to pieces. But I can see his opinion brewing in his head and he just can't focus on what I'm saying because his head is so filled with his own thoughts and opinion, and it's just kind of starting to spill out of his energy and he's really struggling to hold it together. So eventually I just ask him, okay, what are your thoughts? And you know what I've discovered? If you do encounter people who do give you their thoughts and opinions, it's not always a bad thing. Because if they say something, let's say you have to choose between option A and option B, and they say, oh, you should definitely do option B. Option A is stupid, you must do option B. And then part of you is like defending option A, and you kind of wish they'd said option A. You're then getting clarity that actually, no, option A is the one that feels aligned to you. I've had this a few times with my husband when I have really stupid decision-making things, such as, should I go out for a coffee or should I have it at home? And I go into logistics. He was like, you should just go out for coffee, just enjoy yourself. And then I'll go, no, actually, I do want to be at home. I kind of want to be in my own space. Oh, it was so helpful. He had a strong opinion because it helped me understand that I don't want that opinion. So when you do encounter people, well-meaning, trying to be a soundboard, and they do give you your opinion, notice how you feel about it. Notice how you respond to their opinion. And we can talk about being triggered by their opinion as well, but that's probably a whole other video. Triggers are blessings in disguise, blah, blah, blah. We can get into that. Third part, how do you know what is the most aligned decision for you? You will feel in your body when you have made a decision that feels aligned. And the crazy thing is, you could have already come to the conclusion that, say, option A is the right decision, but it might not feel like the right decision because you're coming at it from, let's say, a place of fear or guilt or shame. This is a side note, but my husband and I have this principle in our relationship, which is we don't make decisions out of fear, guilt or shame. So when he's helping me soundboard a decision, such as, I want to have a second baby, but I don't know, maybe we'll do it in a few months' time. Eventually we discover, actually, I just have a fear that I'm not capable of looking after 2 kids. But sometimes we discover that the decision we're making might be the right one, but we're not at the right vibration. We might be coming to the same conclusion from a vibration of fear, which means if we do end up taking that option, it's actually come from a place of fear. So that's then going to start rippling out with the underlying fear vibration. We don't want that because we're woo-woo people who believe in vibration. My gosh, I hope you're a woo-woo person who's okay with the word vibration. When you're at an aligned decision, it will just resonate in your body. You'll know it is the right thing. Even if you feel a little bit of butterflies in your stomach, it might be because, not because it's the wrong decision, but because you're having to take a leap of faith. Your body knows moving away from that old career to this one, it knows it's the right thing, or moving house, it knows that change is the right thing for you, or even moving away from certain relationships. Your body will know what is right and wrong for you. Even if it feels scary, it will feel good in your body. Comments if you want me to clarify any of that. So we've discussed what is the correct environment. We've discussed soundboarding, and remember the goal of soundboarding is to hear your thoughts reflected back and to be able to see them and experience them. Okay, introduction. My name's Jess, I'm 1-3 Mental Projector. I am interested in anything to do with exploring consciousness, human design, astrology, Seth materials, Abraham Hicks, the Kabbalion. Your intuition supersedes anything that I have said or anyone else has said. You know your body best. Disclaimer 2. This video is my subjective experience of being a mental projector, and I just want you to experiment and see what works for you. Third is, I love human design. It's been transformational in my relationship with an emotional manifestor. But along my way of discovering human design, I started to find it limiting. The whole idea of that I don't have this sacral life force energy inside me, I started feeling really limited by it. And then as I'm coming out of the other side of it, I realized human design is never, ever meant to feel limiting. It's meant to give us a language to try and understand ourselves and other people better. And that's it. It's just a language, and me as a person, I'm now giving you my interpretation of that. So if anything I have said feels limiting, you absolutely must discard it, because you are a powerful creator. I have a belief we all create our own universes, so we actually are center of our universe. And we weren't meant to be limited or restricted. We are abundant by nature. We're wanting to expand by nature. So I just want you to bear that in mind. Well, this was fun. Any questions? Let me know.